Okay, we can start the part 2.
How about we continue the talking about the topic of the rubbing finger on the surface of the
Okay, yes,
and
okay.
diving into the implicit.
Hi.
I'd like to offer the topic that we discussed about subtle difference between the rubbing the implicit with a finger. That's the metaphor you, Robson.
Let me correct. It's not a metaphor. Yeah. It's an example of a large concept.
Oh, it's an example. Okay.
Yeah.
And then,
so he makes.
And then in response to what you said, I used the expression of diving into in the middle of the ocean of.
Yeah.
So you mentioned there must be some interesting difference between those two ways of saying it.
This is not simple though. This little take 5 minutes to get to it. But shall I do that?
Something about it? Would you say more about?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to make this very simple. Otherwise, it would take an hour. But this is at first about perception. So when you move your finger on a textured surface, there actually is no texture there if you put your finger down just on one spot and hold it steady. The texture comes out from the motion.
Through the movement.
Through the movement. That is a way of thinking about sensory perception. So, for example, the eyes appear to be moving, appear to be stationary, like we look at something and it seems to be still. But in fact, the eyes are moving 1 to 3 times a second.
Scanning the things, right?
Scanning, like microsaccadic eye movements. And if you stop the eye from moving, you go blind. And if you stabilize an image on the retina of the eye, so that the retina, it's not moving on the retina, it's just in one place, the image fades and disappears. So that sensory perception is constant motion, constant change. And then in the same way, consciousness is constant change. Because consciousness has to do with self-awareness of perceiving, experiencing the world. So you have, at the level of sensory perception and consciousness, you have constant motion. And so I think of a blind person tapping with a cane, where if you tap once, you don't get anything. But if you tap repeatedly, you begin to feel the world. And so then with language, it turns out to be the same. And I won't explain it. It would take a little bit of time, but there's a way in which our language, our words, our units in a way, are versioning the world.
I've got to explain, versioning.
Yes. So the versioning, each tap is a version. And so each tap gives you nothing, but the series of them together give you a versioning of the world and self and consciousness.
I'm wondering how to say version in Japanese.
Is that kind of original meaning to the words by Gendlin or yourself?
Yeah, it is.
Yes, it's an original meaning, but it's related to the normal meaning, like a version. For example, if we put on a performance of a play, a Shakespeare, say, then we would say that our particular performance is a version of Shakespeare. So what we have is consciousness and perception in constant motion. And if you stop the motion, everything disappears. Like also, if you put somebody in sensory deprivation, consciousness begins to disintegrate.
Right.
And then, so then one final thing, that a felt sense is like that also. So the felt sense is continuously changing. We get new handles and new versions. And so then in a way, what we're doing is we can't encounter the implicit directly, but we can version it, or we can version the effect of it. We can version the interaction with it between our language and the felt meaning.
The version is a felt meaning, did you say? I didn't get exactly.
Let me be careful here. That the implicit is unknowable.
Right. Right. Implicit,
but we can know some aspect of it by how it responds to, say, a handle in focusing. And then if we do that over and over again, we version how the implicit is functioning in relation to some situation that we're focusing on.
I'm most interested in what you said about the sense of self is a result of our effort or our versioning, the result of our versioning, right?
Yeah.
So each moment or each occasion, we are versioning the sense of self, and then kind of reinforcing some that sense.
That's right. That's right.
But
and there is no self in that. What it is I could think of it as the implicit reflecting, self-reflecting or something. So it's like riding a bicycle. There's no bicycle riding as an entity. There's bicycle riding as an activity. And so the self is an activity.
How is that related to Buddhism? He thinks there's a similarity there with
That's what I think too, but I don't know. I was hoping that you would know.
Yeah, I think Buddhism does not deny the fact we have a sense of self, but usually we mistake the sense of self as an entity of the self.
Exactly.
Because we feel like there's something kind of substantial called a self or my or me kind of thing, but it's a sense, right? Yeah. This difference between the sense of self and the self is very subtle but very important. So I think the versioning is a very useful concept or explanation how this sense of self is created.
Yes. Now I have a question though. It feels phenomenologically. It feels very real, and you can just feel it, that the sense of self is an illusion and how it's created. But I wonder, and I think the conclusion fits with Buddhism perfectly. But the concept of versioning and the whole process of versioning and creation of self, I want to relate that to the 12 nidanas and the wheel of life or something, or the what is it? The 5 skandhas.
Dependent co-origination, or
Rob, you were saying you wanted to relate that to the Buddhist concept of origination?
Yes. Yeah.
I think it's a Gendlin version of 5 skandhas theory, and then 12 link of dependent co-origination, I think.
You feel that it does relate?
I think so. Yeah, it's a kind of more like a anatomical explanation of the versioning, I think.
Yeah.
I think those 5, very basic Buddhist teaching doctrine of 5 skandhas or 12 link of dependent co-origination could be understood as one version of versioning the sense of self.
Oh, in other words, there's a basic reality here that we're continuously creating self and world, and that the the theory of versioning and the theory of 5 skandhas and the 12 nidanas, those are all versions of ways of thinking about versioning.
Yes. The Buddha was not so interested in offering the absolute truth about the reality.
Right.
But he was more interested in how to articulate what's really happening in our life.
Yeah.
So it's to me it's a more pragmatic. The Buddha was very, very pragmatic. He was not so much concerned about absolute truth claim. Rather, how useful what he said in order to go beyond or to awaken ourselves from the illusion of stability.
So you said that the Buddhist approach is more pragmatic and
and also instrumental.
Instrumental. Yes, instrumental.
Truth claim, objective truth. He's not so concerned about.
Right. So I want to just qualify. I want to say that Gendlin, of course, doesn't believe that objective truth is even possible. So he would, but he's still involved in, I think he would agree that I'm speaking for him, but I think he would agree that he's involved in the Western project of trying to understand everything in a large way. And so he would say that we will never know the ultimate truth. And there's probably no, like with the implicit can't be reduced to one set of concepts. But we can version it. And so he would say that his philosophy is one version. And he thinks that we'll get better versions in the future. So I wonder if we could say that the Buddhist approach would be something like cooking, where you have like procedures that you go through. You add so much flour and so much this and that. And the Western process model approach would be more interested in chemistry. So what's going on when we're cooking? And then if we accept that, then we could say that there would be, of course, some correspondence between the Buddhist approach and the Gendlin approach. But it would be very deep, and it could be formulated in many different ways. It would be a whole field. I don't know. It would be there wouldn't be a simple correspondence.
There would be correspondence, but it wouldn't be very simple. Is that what?
There would be some relationship, but it wouldn't be simple.
So for you, Buddhism is cooking, and then Gendlin's philosophy is a chemistry of cooking.
Something like that, yeah. And it's an extreme. I think that Gendlin would want to say that he's being practical also. But what I'm feeling is that the approach is more sort of cosmological or metaphysical or something. He's making a larger picture and not so much emphasis on the practice, although he's very concerned with practice.
The best combination is a great cook as a great chemist of the cooking.
Yes,
right?
yes. I would think, yeah. And it's more fun.
And also more fun to be able to eat the nice dish.
Yes, exactly.
One more question about this, around this topic. もう一つ質問があるんですけどね。Have you ever heard of the theory of affordance?
Yes.
Created by
J.J. Gibson.
Gibson, right? It's very interesting idea for me to understand about our reality of our perception. It's not calculated. We receive we receive the sensory input from outside, and then our brain, like a computer, calculated and also and formulates the real picture of the objective world. Instead of, because it's so time consuming, right? many of the animal behavior cannot be explained that way because they move so quickly, right? So then here are the theory of affordance by Gibson. And I'm interested in how can we incorporate the affordance concept into process theory, process model of Gendlin in terms of perception.
I gave Gene a copy of J.J. Gibson's.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and Gene read it, and he just agreed. There's no translation. It's just his process model.
No any kind of critical comment against it.
No, no. It's just he's just right. Gendlin's doing something larger. But what Gibson's doing, he's got it right.
Very interesting commonality between those two persons' idea about our as for perception.
Yes, and also with Zen, I guess. Also with Zen.
Zen.
Yeah. One thing I'd like to say about Gibson, about that whole approach, is that it puts away the homunculus problem in Western psychology.
Puts away the what problem?
The homunculus problem.
Homunculus.
So in all of the theories of Western, well, most theories, practically all, they have a machine, basically some type of computer or something that processes imagery or something. And at some point, the image or whatever has to be recognized as meaningful. And there's no way a machine can do that. So they say that the image is interpreted or it's processed or it's recognized or something as if that were an explanation, but it's not. What they're really doing is just assuming a little person inside of our heads, a homunculus, who actually sees what's going on and interprets it. It kind of goes with the unit model.
Yeah.
And it's kind of almost a joke. The cognitive psychology is filled with little people that they hide. They're behind the curtain, they're under the bed, but they're necessary in order for the whole system to work. Gibson solved this problem.
Instead of putting the homunculus in your brain, that function is located outside the environment, right?
That's right. Like if I could recognize an image of a tree in my brain, why couldn't I just recognize a tree? Yeah. So this way of thinking is very deeply ingrained or deeply inherent in the Western way of thinking. And so many people buy into it or think this way without even knowing it.
This way meaning which way?
The homunculus way of thinking.
Affordance theory is recognized by the mainstream of the cognitive scientist or philosophy of perception.
It's very it's well recognized. So I don't understand it actually. So what I can tell you is that every person getting trained, and anyone who goes to graduate school in psychology knows J.J. Gibson, and probably undergraduates learn J.J. Gibson also. And then they ignore him.
So the central dogma of the central framework or paradigm in the field of perception research now shifted from the unit model to affordance theory?
No. They know about him and they don't use him. I think it's because people don't study philosophy. They don't know the assumptions that are inherent in their own thinking.
They are not aware of it.
They're not aware of their own assumptions. So, for example, the movie The Matrix, right? That's the homunculus thing. It's like, we have a fake world out there. Can we really trust that the world that's out there is the real world? And you could have like a brain in a vat that is being fed inputs. And so they think of like some type of conscious, some interpreting computer that's getting inputs from outside. And that leads to the homunculus problem, but it also leads to neat movies like The Matrix. And really, if you start looking for it, you find it all over the place. It's a mechanistic worldview that has no place for meaning. And
so the
and so
mechanistic worldview means everything is interpreted as frequency or size, weight. Everything is kind of a numerical information, right?
Yes, and it's also a machine. It's something like a computer with causal relationships between this and that. And the notion of causality excludes meaning. So like if you have a row of dominoes and you hit the first domino and all the row falls, there's nothing meaningful there. The dominoes don't know or care.
Question, how can we, where the qualia emerge from the frequency of the light or vibration of the sound,
Where can color emerge?
Qualia, quality, sense of quality.
Qualia. Okay,
qualia, yeah.
That's a big mystery. And so what we're doing right now is we're making up very complicated machines and we hide a ghost in the machine, hide a homunculus in the machine.
So we're talking about theory, and that there's nobody hiding inside Siri. It's just a machine. So it can't answer questions. I tried to ask Siri once, do you love me? And Siri said, I can't answer that question.
Somebody was playing with their Android phone and asking it outrageous questions. And I can't remember what the Android the thing is called, but they asked it, okay, Android, how should I hide a dead body? And the Android said, go ask Siri. So I want to add one thing here, that this way of thinking, the technological way of thinking, is so pervasive, and it inherently denies meaning. So we're looking at how to do things more efficiently, but we're not looking at what we're doing, because that implies purpose and meaning. And so, for example, in the United States, top proponents of meditation are teaching meditation and advertising meditation as a technique to deal with stress, or to do this, lower your blood pressure, things like that. And there's actually books about enlightenment, and like showing that enlightenment is, the concept is culturally relative, and then asking, well, we should choose what kind of enlightenment we want. And I'm serious, and it's which one would suit our purposes more. And so I'll choose this one rather than that one, as if I were in a store. And so this way of thinking is wrongly associated with science, and it's spreading around the world. That's what large part of what Gendlin is concerned about. And I think we should all be concerned about, because this will destroy us, this way of thinking.
Yeah, now the world of philosophy, contemporary philosophy, we have very difficult to find the orientation, because everything is relativized.
Everything is
relativized. There's no basis for us to find it became very difficult for us to find the solid ground for us to stand up, because everything is relativized. That like God is dead. You can do whatever you want, kind of situation, right?
That's right. It's a nihilistic.
For me, the fundamentalistic mindset is a kind of reaction against this kind of nihilistic situation.
I think you're right.
So instead of falling into the prey of fundamentalism, we should find the wholesome alternative against, or alternative alternatives for the us to go beyond this nihilistic situation.
That's right. That's right.
So for you, that's maybe we can find some hope in Gendlin's philosophy of implicit.
Exactly, exactly. And I was surprised to discover that Gendlin agrees with Nishitani that the turn towards nihilism in the West, the postmodern turn, finding everything meaningless, that's actually a good beginning, but it needs to go further.
What did you say about nihilism?
Good starting point.
Oh, good start.
Yeah.
Nishitani, generally knew about Nishitani. It's you.
No.
It's you.
You did not.
So
did not know Nishitani.
You said you agree with Nishitani.
Yes.
I
discovered Nishitani after Gendlin died.
I remember reading somewhere, I don't remember the whole article, but I remember the title of Gene's. I think it was an article, and it was titled, "What are the grounds of explication?" Do you know?
I remember that. I don't remember what's in the article, but I remember the article.
I don't either. Yeah. So when we try to go over the nihilism, where do we stand, Rob?
Where do we stand?
Yeah.
Well, what Gene says, well, look around. We've got, we've been shown convincingly that everything, all our concepts are relative, that even science changes over the decades.
Yes.
And so we can't trust any concepts. And yet, he says, just notice we're still breathing.
Yeah.
We can still live. And people can take airplanes to faraway places and use PowerPoint to talk about the meaninglessness of science. So he says there must be an order inherent in nature, or else all these other things would be impossible, including us. And so the order must be more than our concepts. It can't depend on our concepts because our concepts change. So then we have, he says that there's something going on here and we should pay attention to it. And he describes it, it's an implicit order, and it has an intricacy which is different in kind than the quality than our concepts. So it's inherently unconceptualizable, but we can still approach it, we can still be with it and experience it by focusing or.
For this question, I am wondering if the Descartes, the father of the modern philosophy, Descartes' great insight of cogito ergo sum, I think therefore I am, should be reinterpreted not as the, for example, the material, the division of material and then spirit
and matter.
Dualism. So his cogito ergo sum has been interpreted in terms of dualistic way of body and mind. But I think this insight, cogito ergo sum, he discovered this as unshakable. Even God cannot deny this starting point, as a starting block of his whole philosophical things. So I think we can reinterpret this cogito ergo sum not through the modern philosophical framework, but more like a Gendlin or Zen under the light of Zen or Gendlin philosophy,
Right.
as the ground for us to go beyond nihilism. 今言ったのは Thank you for bringing this idea out of my storage of the junk of information. I never think about this. I never think about it this way, but somehow through our conversation, somehow I want to say this. So I'm not so well articulated, but whatever happens, it's happening. Whatever it is, to me. But
Yes,
nobody cannot deny. It's self-evident. We don't need any explanation. We don't have to refer to other explanatory theory. Rather, it's kind of no one cannot deny this kind of fact, self-evident fact.
Right.
So we should start our argument or reasoning or thinking like Descartes did, start from unshakable, undisputable, because dispute itself is kind of included in this kind of insight, right? Whatever you may disprove it, but the fact you are disproving, prove it,
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Something like that. Buddha said, don't cling. There's nothing to cling in this world, right? So it sounds like a nihilistic statement, but in addition to that statement, the Buddha said, true refuge is yourself.
Say it again.
So true refuge.
True refuge. Oh, the refuge is here.
Yeah, it's you, not someone else, something else.
Yeah.
Right, so it's a kind of cogito ergo sum kind of statement to me.
Yeah.
So
the problem,
as far as you rely on others, you are disturbed or you are easily shaken because you rely on something else. But if you stand on your feet, that's should be a foundation of your life.
The problem with Descartes was that when he said, I think, therefore I am, he assumed an I that's separate from the world. So he says, I exist because I think, but then is the world real? And he should have said, I experience or I interact with, therefore I and the world am.
Yes, that's the reinterpretation of the cogito ergo sum.
Right.
I'm saying, what does Buddhism or what does Zen think about I think, therefore I exist? Don't you sort of...
I'm wondering if that English translation of cogito ergo sum is accurate?
I don't know.
No, actually it's not. But it's what
there is no I there.
What he meant was not a logical proposition. I think, therefore I am. It meant more like in French is je pense donc je suis. It's like I think I am, and it's like it's self-evident. In other words, like you were saying, it's not logical. It's just self-evident. But implicit in that was the homunculus problem and the mechanization of Western philosophy and psychology, because we have a self which is separate from the world. And then we began studying the world and we began finding out all kinds of interesting things leading to Zoom teleconferences. But we didn't pay much attention to the self part. And so the self kind of dropped out, and now we have a selfless machine. Yeah.
My reinterpretation of cogito ergo sum does not assume the I separated from the world.
That's right.
So to me, it's more like I is the world. I am the world. World is experience. World is the content of I. So it's not a separation or dualism of I and the objective world.
Yeah.
Right, right.
But as soon, right after Descartes has this insight, he failed to
Right, yeah.
articulate what he discovered. Somehow I want to distort the Cartesian philosophy more fitting to Gendlin or
Yeah, yeah. But I want to argue not to go back to Descartes, but you need to go back before Descartes, because Descartes formulated the problem badly. And the fact that he could do that without questioning his assumption, and the fact that everybody around him could hear that without questioning the assumption, means that the basic assumption was already embedded in Western culture.
Say that again, about nobody questioned the assumption, and therefore
nobody questioned the assumption of self and world being separate.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
And it was just obvious to Descartes that they're separate, and it was obvious to everyone around him.
Everybody else around.
So we need to go back, and it's like there's another interesting thing here. Yeah, it seems that when like a way out of this, and a way to reframe it, would be to say that what is, and that would say that that my experience is real, or that my awareness is real, and what that refers to, I think, is the phenomenological whole, but it gets translated into Western terms, and in terms of things like everything is mind, which is not too bad by itself, but what that means to a Westerner who has this body-mind split is, well, if everything's mind, then we're doing idealism, and the material world isn't real. And then we're back to the Matrix, right? And so I find that interesting, that we'll get pervasively, and we'll get interpretations of Buddhism as either not so often materialistic, but idealist, some form of idealism. And I don't think that you mean that, do you?
No. So you are talking about the Yogacara philosophy?
Yeah, that's been accused of being idealistic. Yeah, but I don't think they don't mean that.
No. That's misunderstanding of the Yogacara philosophy. It's not idealism, or it's not the one kind of Western type of idealism. It's totally different.
That's right. Yeah.
You're saying
the more phenomenology of the mind. Phenomenology
of the mind, the phenomenology of the mind includes world, whatever that is, because the world is part of it. Just a definition back, one of the, a dictionary, Webster's dictionary, years ago, if you looked up objective, the definition of objective was independent of the mind.
Yes.
And then you could ask, well, what do we know independently of our minds?
So that's the argument from the Yogacara.
So
we are not, we are aware of the apple itself, but rather in reality, or phenomenologically speaking, we are aware of the perception of the apple.
That's right. And that's all we could possibly have.
So that's right. So the Yogacara is a kind of Buddhist phenomenology to describe accurately what we are experiencing.
Yes. But then the Western person would say, but they couldn't possibly have meant something like that. They must have meant idealism, right? It's like, what can you do? Just the discussion would be a useful thing for the Westerners. Like for Westerners to hear clearly from the East that we don't mean idealism or materialism or whatever you think. We mean something larger.
Yes. Otherwise, we just simply argue against each other, right? Nothing, not productive.
I think for a Westerner, like if I'm a Western scholar who's writing about the idealistic school of Yogacara, If an Eastern, like somebody who's grown up in the East and is a Buddhist and knows the philosophy, and a practitioner tells me that that's wrong, it would be hard for me to argue back. It would be hard to say, well, you don't really understand what you're doing.
So we have to be very wise. We should take a very wise approach to this kind of East-West kind of dialogue, because many cases we tend to put a label on each other, and then that's not a productive way. So we need some kind of some ground where we can translate our idea into more neutral framework. So I think that Gendlin's philosophy can take a role of this kind of third person neutral field for productive discussion.
Yes, I agree.
Maybe we better make a shift from the topic to the emptiness and the implicit.
Say that again.
We should change the topic. Maybe
back to
it can be endless, right? So we should shift the topic to emptiness and the implicit.
Okay. I want to say one more thing before we leave this.
Of course.
That there have been a number of Western and Eastern scholars who have tried to use Heidegger as a bridge from Buddhism to Western thought.
I see.
And those people have come under severe attack from Westerners. And so Gendlin, I think, is a better bridge than Heidegger, but is still part of the same school. The same, like Gendlin is coming out of the existential phenomenological tradition of Heidegger. So we could use Gendlin, but then Gendlin would come under attack. And I think what needs to happen is for the people who can speak for Buddhism to say clearly to the West that we don't accept your categories of matter and spirit, and we're doing something more like what you call phenomenology. And that just needs to be heard.
I'm curious about what kind of attack to Heidegger or against Heidegger or Gendlin.
For example, Herbert Gunther used Heideggerian language and concepts to translate Buddhism, and he was accused of absorbing Buddhism into Western concepts. Yeah.
Kind of reducing,
but not gently, by the way. Like if you talk I was speaking to a translator of Sanskrit and who considers himself an authority on Buddhism, and he was angrily derogatory of Herbert Gunther, and not just that he's making a mistake, but he's really badly mistaken and misleading everybody.
Let me see if I got that right. Gunther is criticized by Westerners as bringing as reading Buddhism into Heidegger, or is he criticized by Eastern?
By Westerners. I don't think the Eastern, like the Kyoto school, chooses Heidegger as the bridge. Yeah, and I think that Gendlin is a better bridge than Heidegger. But no matter what bridge we use, we have to be aware that it's going to be misunderstood in terms of dualism, and so it has to be really stated that that we don't care, which philosophy in particular you use, but you need to understand that we don't share this delusion about dualism. Like talking to a paranoid psychotic, who everything you say to them, they fit into their delusional system, right?
But anyway, we have to take a risk in order to change the situation or abyss we are, facing right now. I kind of write down two questions. One is comparison between the Buddhist concept of shunyata and then Gendlin's implicit, and also another one is the time, because I felt it's very interesting and also peculiar, special. When I read the process model, it's same as like this is more than what it looked like, right? The more, right? So
yes.
It's a more like a more in terms of space and also time.
Yes.
You talk about next step or future is woven into the current present the present moment.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So unit model, it's very difficult to incorporate the concept of time because it's very, very static, right? So how to regain, the loss of meaning and also loss of time, not the physical time, more like a meaningful time. It's like kairos and horizontal time and the vertical time. Forget the term. Greek words, kairos and
Chronos?
Chronos and kairos.
Kairos. How do you spell kairos?
Kairos.
Would it be helpful for me to say something about Gendlin's understanding of time and contrast it with the standard Western understanding? So the Western time is, in the unit model time, is assumed to be kind of like a spatial metaphor, like a timeline, and it's divided into discrete units like minutes and seconds. And so you have, and then you have like four-dimensional space. So you have like a picture of the universe as four-dimensional, a block where, you have time as one of the dimensions. And so you have everything is there all at once, the block universe. So the ancient Romans are right there next to us, and up the street or the whatever comes after us. And so time isn't real. It fundamentally not real.
Very abstract concept.
Very abstract
time
and that it's not real, so that we could time travel, for example. So then Gendlin would take this time and this phenomenological moment, and he would notice that we have around us like a building, which is we know where we are. We're speaking two languages that some of us know, and that we have a sense of who we are and where we came from, and it's all here now, in this moment. So it's part of the almost the structure of this moment that it includes the past, and so in that way the past is not on a timeline, but it's part of this time now, and shaping and sort of structuring, giving us a purpose, a context to go forward in, and it's all here now. So that
sounds very strange, because the past is not the present. That's by definition, right?
Supposedly. But actually, Gene would then turn around and say, well, if it's not here now, where is it? Gene would say that if it's not here now, how could we know about it? So we have this now, this whatever we call it, and that is structured by the past functioning as part of this moment, and also an orientation towards next steps we might take, which is something like a future. And so instead of a timeline, you have something like a kind of a moment that is qualitatively structured in some way, and it's continuously developing.
Mm-hmm.
And then we could imagine every being, and this is extrapolating a little bit, but every being that is in process is its own time.
Yes.
And we're all developing together, and there is no past and no future. Those are mental constructs, part of the structure of this moment that's evolving now.
Did you say mental concepts?
Mental constructs. They're ideas.
They are not constructs. They are this now.
That's right. Yeah. And we make up a story about this now, and we pretend the story is real. You know, for example, I'm neurotic because my mother didn't breastfeed me or something. It's whatever it is here now, and doesn't need to be projected into the past. It needs to be explored here now. And much is functioning implicitly.
で、そこに多くが存在している。
Yeah. And what functions implicitly that we don't explicitly know about, we could call that the unconscious. So then we don't have to have areas of our brain where stuff is stuck and hidden away. You know, it's all here now. So I wonder, how does that sound to a Buddhist?
Yeah, there's no one doctrine. There's no only one doctrine of time in Buddhist philosophy. There are many different standpoints, I think. So it's very difficult. This is Buddhist theory of time.
Yeah, I was thinking particularly of Dogen and being time.
Being time. Oh, you read that one too. It's very difficult to translate that one. So I don't know. I think I believe you read it, Dogen's being time, in the translation, right?
Of course.
Yeah. So even Japanese, it's very, very difficult. Also allow us to translate in many, many different ways.
Right.
So it's totally based on the translator's basic understanding of that volume, you know. So, but my understanding is that time is not outside us. We in a sense, time is born out of my action.
Yeah.
That's I think what I understand by reading Dogen's being time.
Yeah.
And
that's
it's not the objective flow. According to Dogen's being time, I understand our ordinary understanding of time is time for us to wait until our ideal is accomplished. We are always waiting for something to happen which I want to happen.
Right. So
but
could you say the beginning again? The time it has to do with our waiting for something to happen?
Yeah, we have a sense of time only our attitude of waiting something to happen in the future. Like what time I'm waiting for my girlfriend to come to the place in the park, you know, as appointment, you know.
Yeah.
So I'm waiting, right?
Yeah.
So that's a sense of time, our ordinary sense of time. So, but that's illusion. And also, like a Newtonian concept of absolute time is also illusion.
It's also illusion?
Also illusion. Illusion?
Illusion, yes.
Illusion.
Yeah.
So in a sense, most of his statement in the volume of Being Time is try to kind of criticizing our ordinary sense of time. separated from the beings and separate from ourselves. It's more engaged with our action or our attitude of living.
Right, right.
Being and time is one, not two things. That's the meaning of the title of being time. You know, so.
That's right. Being and time is one. And that, like Gendlin would say that our being is a verb, it's a process, and that we are time.
Being changed, that's the time.
So we have only 5 minutes left.
Time being.
Say that for both Zen and focusing, time is not outside of us, a separate thing outside of us.
Right. There's no objective time.
And of course, inside, outside is also a spatial metaphor. But
it's all, we could say it, and that it's all here now in this phenomenological moment.
We talk about, maybe we can focus, we have focused on what is the reality of the self and what is the reality of time. It's time and the self is a very most fundamental basic concept to describe the experience, but both concepts should be reframed anew. Both Zen Buddhism and Gendlin philosophy is recommending us or try to articulate, you know, we have a necessity of reframe those common sense concept or idea or understanding of myself and the time and reality, right?
That's
so
right.
that
you said Gestalt shift, right?
Yeah, so that's bring us a Gestalt, not the local or partial change, more it's a Gestalt as a whole shift.
That's right, a whole shift.
I think both Zen and Gendlin's philosophy is kind of try to help us to get rid of those entrapment of the inaccurate, incorrect way of meaning those kind of fundamental block-like concepts for us to experience life.
That's right.
Yeah. So I really feel very much convinced that's very necessary and interesting, and it's worthwhile to try. Yeah.
I like that. Necessary and interesting. Well, I see a resonances between Gendlin and Zen Buddhism, and that these are not simple positions. These are complex ways of experiencing, and they were come to independently from two different cultures and two different histories, come to this same crossing. And so I think there's an insight here which is important for the world, for healing. I feel we have an important thing to share here.
Okay.
I feel also enormous gratitude to the community in Japan and to Isho for making this possible.
And I feel very excited that that there is so much overlap in the thinking.
But I think we created collaboratively the overlap. Without discussing this kind of way, there's no overlap outside of our discussion. So it's a kind of result of collaborative work.
Do you think? Are you saying that the overlap is not real? That we've created it, or?
No, overlap. We discover the overlap through having a dialogue.
That's right. Yeah, it's not out there written down in a book someplace.
That's right.
Yeah.
And I just remember that when Jean came to Japan for the second time, I was in Chicago, And so when he came back, he was very moved by being in Japan. And he had dreams that his mother was living in Japan. And he had dreams for 6 months. He had this dream. So I knew that something must have clicked. About,
do you know anything? Did he talk about philosophy to anybody and get some crossover?
I don't think so. I know that he went to a Zen temple. That's about all. Right, and the rest were. I think he went to a psychology conference. That was the first time he went. That was the first time he went. Yeah. So I think in his thinking there was something about maybe Japanese culture or Buddhism, something there that we are now discovering.
But Japanese like art, like sumie, like ink brush painting or haiku. That emphasize the significance of space, not painted or not unsaid,
So I would like to close the discussion here. And I thank you very much to Rob Parker and Fujita Ishio Sensei for being here tonight. 感謝したいと思います。どうもありがとうございました。
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.